Good afternoon, folks, or I should say good evening, folks. Thanks for tuning in to KasimAwan. Today's 17th of Tuesday, Wednesday, the 17th of July, and the heatwave conditions continue for the UK. It must be the 7th or 8th day now. I've been enjoying these wonderful hot conditions across many parts of the country. It really has been a spectacular heatwave, and it is set to continue over the coming days and into the weekend too. The heatwave is set to certainly continue. In fact, into next week, into the early stages of next week, temperatures may even get a little bit higher. Because what's happening is we might build a southerly flow through next week, but I'm also uncertain as to whether we actually build a southerly flow up through the start next week, through Monday, Tuesday. If it comes off and we pull up the very hot air from France, pull it up from Spain, and then the UK sees some very warm temperatures. But if it doesn't come off, then we'll keep the current heat we've got now, which is not too bad, certainly. If you want to find out more on the 8 to 16 day discussion, you can always view the link below. That takes you through to a written update of the 8 to 20 day discussion for the UK, going from day 8 to day 20, from day 1, which is day 1 is today, going from day 8 to day 20. So very interesting developments taken there in terms of a breakdown through towards the last days of July. So this is a chart from weathercentral.d, and this is for today. Well, today has been a very hot day. You will notice that temperatures across parts of southern England were predicted to go to 32 degrees Celsius, and that's where they've been today. Temperatures across parts of Oxfordshire, stretching through to southern England too, have been as high as 32 degrees Celsius, started stretching up to 19 Fahrenheit across some parts of the country. It's black now, shouldn't have done a lot of highlighting. And further north into the Midlands too, it's very warm today, temperatures up to 28, 29. And then looking ahead, looking across northern parts of England, it's very warm too, and Northern Ireland as well as Ireland itself, but always cooler. Now, always slightly cooler across the far northwest of the country. Parts of northwestern Scotland have experienced slightly cooler weather today. Now, this is the temperature forecast for tomorrow. You will see a date is on the top right there, valid for Thursday, the 18th of July. That is indeed tomorrow. And then you'll notice that the oranges are still there across many parts of the country. Across England and Wales, it's very hot. In fact, tomorrow, if you live in southern Scotland, if you live in eastern Scotland, if you live in North England, it's going to be hotter than today with temperatures into the high 20s. And it just stays hot for much of England and Wales. But you will notice that by tomorrow, across just parts of East Anglia and through Kent, there's the cooler conditions. What's going on is high pressure is moving from here to around here, and that allows an easterly flow to dig in, and that pushes into the southeast, and that means that these more northwestern parts turn hotter. So through tomorrow, it's going to be hotter across the northwest. And this is the temperature forecast for Friday, the 19th of July. Date is along the top right there. Those of you that are wondering how these charts work, well, this is an operational one, so it's issued 3 times a day. One at 06Z, one at 12Z, one at 18Z. I should say 4 times a day. One at midnight, one at 6 AM, one at midday, and one at 6 PM. And on the left here, that's when it is ignition. So that's when it was actually issued. So it was issued this morning at 6 AM. So 06Z, and it's going for, this is on the top right, you see what it's valid for, so when it's actually for, it's Friday the 19th of July. And to Friday the 19th of July, the heat wave continues across the country through many parts of England and Wales. And again, it gets even hotter. So if you live in Western Scotland, it gets even hotter. If you live in Northern Ireland, it gets hotter through towards Friday than it is currently. But across parts of Eastern England, just notice through, I think, parts of East Anglia and Kent through Friday, just slightly cooler than what we've experienced through today. So feeling slightly cooler on Friday in the far east of the country. And this is a view by Sunday. So this is the view by Sunday, 21st of July. In fact, on Sunday, 21st of July, KasimAwan has got some very interesting news, so stay tuned for that. You'll probably find out more on that on Twitter and Facebook if you stay tuned. So yeah, this is a chart for Sunday's temperature. Just notice what's starting to develop across France, in particular the southwest of France through the Pyrenees and over the Pyrenees across parts of Iberia. Very hot conditions getting going here. That's 40 degrees Celsius, probably in some parts of France. Through towards the weekend, so some very hot conditions, and the hot conditions are staying with us through the UK through towards Sunday too. And looking ahead to Monday, it gets even hotter. You will notice that by now we've got these deep reds across parts of southwestern France, up to 40 degrees Celsius across some parts here, and that stretches through to Iberia too. And for the UK, or for the United Kingdom, for this country, 31s across southwestern parts of the country. You may even be able to get a 32 across some parts of the south east of the country through towards Monday. Very hot conditions back with us through Monday. Even though they didn't even leave us through the weekend, it's going to get even hotter, or it may get even hotter. Still a lot of uncertainty through towards next week. And this is a forecast for Tuesday, 23rd of July. Just look how widespread those 30s are across many parts of the country. It really is getting very blazingly hot through Thursday across many parts of England and Wales. Must have been the hottest spell since July 2006, very hot conditions. And just look how tediously hot it's getting across parts of Iberia and also southwestern France too. And just having a cheeky look through to Wednesday. Well, Wednesday's quite far out, so I think by Wednesday, confidence starts to decrease. We're unsure about the forecast from next sort of Tuesday. Looks like through the start of next week things will warm up, but it's unsure really from Tuesday. So just giving you a quick call off as to how things are shaping up from the GFS for next Wednesday. Well, both the GFS, actually both the GFS ECMWF are going for a breakdown of conditions through towards next weekend. The weekend after next weekend through towards the 28th, 29th of July. So I think we could see this breakdown in conditions through towards the very last stages of July, very last days of July. The very last days of July may turn a bit unsettled, but up to then it looks very hot. And through next Wednesday, the GFS is projecting highs of 32 degrees Celsius across parts of eastern England and stretching up through northern England too. Very hot conditions persisting, so it gets even hotter by next Wednesday. Although it may not get this hot, the GFS and the forecast is very uncertain, and it remains sizzlingly hot across parts of France and also Iberia too. Widely, France, the high 30s. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's weather aware update. Very hot conditions stretching out through towards this week too. It's very hot today and it continues to be sizzling through this week, and it may get even hotter across into next week too. But the uncertainty is certainly there in terms of the heat wave next week. Things may not be as hot as I told you tonight, so we may not get the 34 degrees Celsius across some southern parts of the country. It's very uncertain. Of course, I'll keep you updated, but the main summary is that the hot conditions are really lasting through this week and lasting into most of next week too, but then the uncertainty in some sort of breakdown. I do think, folks, now with some confidence I can say that with this, that we will see some sort of breakdown in conditions, the westerly flow returning some sort of breakdown through towards the remaining days of July. So thanks very much for watching. As ever, check KasimAwan.com out if you haven't already done so. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so too. Enjoy the website, enjoy all the features at KasimAwan.com, and thanks very much for watching, and see you later.